Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today is Saturday, November 18th, and I'm in my parents' house in Ballinger, Texas, and we're setting up the kitchen table, and I want to talk to Dad for a while. Okay? Dad, what were your parents' names?
Mother's name was Delia K. Welch.
Sounds familiar.
And my father's name was William Franklin Myers.
Okay. And where did they live when you were born?
In Parker County.
Okay.
That's close to Weatherford, is county seat of Parker.
Okay. And what did your dad do for a living? How did he?
Farming and raising turkeys and stuff like that on the side.
And do you remember the house you lived in?
Very much. We started out, it was just a little 2-bedroom house. While we lived there, they added on one more bedroom. It was a country style house at that time, just a little, I guess it's livable, not livable house, but nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not had no paint.
Yeah. And how did you heat it and cool it?
We heated it with wood. We cooked with wood. We might have had a fan, but I doubt that at that time.
So you just open the doors and windows and
Open the doors
let
and
it
hope
be
it
cool? Was there a fireplace that you used for cooking and heat, or?
But we had a fireplace, and we baked the potatoes a lot off of coals and had a fireplace, and sweet potatoes same way, we baked them.
And was there electricity?
Yeah, electricity, we finally got electricity at that time. Before then, we used oil lamps and kerosene lamps.
What year were you born, Dad?
1916.
1960.
And you had brothers and sisters, or just sisters?
I have 2 half-brothers, 1 half-sister, 4 sisters, and me.
And you were the youngest?
No, I was next to the youngest. Marguerite was younger than me.
Okay.
And right now, I'm the only survivor out of that family.
Okay. And one more thing about the house, did you have running water? No?
No, you carried it, they had a bucket. You go down to a well, they had a rope, bucket, you let the bucket down on a pulley line, fill your bucket down. It's good fresh water, cool water.
You used that to cook with and to bathe with and everything, all your
You
water?
heated it, of course, you take it up and heat it in maybe a tub or somebody, you always had hot water.
And did you have to do chores around the house when you were a child?
Yes, the chores there was left between me and Hazel and Marguerite. Mother had passed away at that time. And we had all the chores to do. We had cows to milk, hogs to feed, and stock to feed, shell corn for this and that. Daddy was very saving with everything, so we had to make, if there was anything used out here to save stuff for something else part of the farm, we had to do it.
How old were you when your mom passed away?
That would be close to 9 years.
9 years old. Okay.
Do you know what she died of? What was she?
Well,
Or
not exactly, but I wasn't old enough to know anything about medicine.
she was
then.
pretty young.
Yeah. And at the same time she was sick, my oldest sister was sick in bed. She had some kind of fever. I remember her laying her head off the edge of the bed and then poured cold water on it to get her fever down.
That'd be Jack and Jack?
Yeah. And I remember Mother was always good to me and Marguerite, I guess because we were about the only one that had time left to go play with her, talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
She would churn, and as the butter became minimal, I forgot whether the old timey churns in, the old stick run up down. As the milk went making butter, the stick would accumulate butter. We would reach over, Marguerite and I would, and get that butter while she was churning off that stick when she come up.
You just eat it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Just eat
it's
like
fresh
that.
butter.
Yum, huh? And did you have any family pets? Remember any?
Well, my papa had a dog, no special cat, and a pony. That pony was mine, Marguerite's pet.
Have a name? Pony?
Yeah, Nell.
Nell?
I had to think about that.
Y'all raise chickens too?
Chickens and turkeys, about the 200 turkeys a year. We raise hogs, have all of our luncheon, all of our meats. And that's where we got our lard. And we'd taken this grease and we made our homemade soaps, wash your clothes with.
Lysol.
Yeah, lye soap, put a little lye in it. And if you didn't want to get clean, you didn't want to use that soap.
It worked good.
It was good soap. This was big trouble with making soap, or like you rendering out your lard, you had to stand there and stir it all the time. There's heat under it. Otherwise, you'd let it. You scorch it. They
Did
thought
they
you
stir
had
it all
to.
the
I don't
time?
know if you had to, but we did have to.
You
Because
made it in
they-
those big old pots like I've seen
Yeah,
the iron
big old-
pots. Yeah.
big old pot you see at auction, at antique sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you didn't have one of them, you couldn't operate.
Do you remember anything about Christmases when you were young?
Yeah, I remember getting the first Christmas tree I can remember. My half-sister's first husband, he and Marguerite and I went up in another man's pasture and cut down a Christmas tree, brought it down. I don't remember setting it up, but I remember going after it. Christmas was very light because there's no money. You had plenty to eat, you wasn't going to get hungry.
This was Depression time, part of it?
Well, it was a kind of beginning, I guess you would say. Well, at that time, there was very little money circulating to anybody. If you had a few dollars, you was lucky. At times, of course, this is part of this other different man's story. My uncle he had 6 or 8 kids, and he would go to the bank and borrow $35 to make a crop on and eat on. That's how
For the year, huh?
for the year until another crop come in.
Did they do a lot of bartering or trading? Like if you had
Yeah, they
chickens, you
did.
trade that for some flour or something?
There'd always be someone come by selling magazines, like Farm and Ranch. You go out there and give them an old hen, and you get a year's subscription for that one old hen, or something like that. Or a lot of times they would take butter, anything that you had. All of our butter, we molded it into the squares like, or oblong. And maybe come by more, had fryers. We've always had chickens that just out by the cells, raised the cells. We didn't take time to set the hens. The hens always made the nest somewhere else and hatched their own chickens out.
How about the eggs? Did you use the...
Yeah, we sold lots of eggs. We sold cream.
So you had to go find the nest? If the hens made their own little nest?
Well, we got into that on the turkeys. The turkeys always hid their nest, and you had to watch them close, and they were real smart. They would watch you, and they would not go to their nest until you were watching. You'd have to, it was kind of, Marguerite and I we had some nest out in the pasture at one certain place we lived. And we'd go to that nest and pick up the turkey eggs every day. She and I went out to get the eggs one afternoon and got lost.
Uh-oh.
The only way we got home, we had an old cow that bawled continually, and we went to that echo to get out of that pasture.
Oh my goodness.
The cow led you home. That's funny. Okay, what were the clothes and hairstyles like back then? Do you remember what you wore? Was it overalls or just...
I wore overalls and what we call farmer's clothes. I mean, long sleeve shirt. You had a short sleeve shirt on, you blistered because you were outside so much. And the schooling, this little deal. They were all out in the field working here, except me and Marguerite, and I don't remember. We were coming in from school. We stayed at the house to play. Done this, we'd take the board, put up over the barbed wire fence like this. You could walk up one side and down the other.
Get over the fence.
Got up, Marguerite got on top of that fence and fell and cut her arm.
Ooh.
I mean bad, and she and I instead of running to the doctor, we'd take her up to the field. Then they had to bring her back, of course, and then get a doctor.
And where was this school, when you went to school?
At that it was a 2-room schoolhouse, about 3/4, might have been a mile, but 3/4 or to a mile from the house. At 2 rooms, and all the grades went to, from first, they didn't know kindergarten, you had first through the 11th. That was top grade. You graduated there, you just had to go through the 11th.
So no kindergarten and no 12th grade?
No. If you used to teach your kids at home, that was then. And the church was like pretty close to that we went to, was pretty close to the school. Then they built a new school, but it's still just a 2-room schoolhouse, but had a hall down the whole length of the building, divided up the what we call the high school and the lower grades. You had certain halls. Between those halls was, you might say, a lobby like little deal. You went out on the porch. At school, we had a fountain out there. I don't know how you would explain it, but you might say a container. It had spigots on it. Those boys they'd make us fill it up, and then if you want to drink water, you get down these spigots like you do out here now, but it's just water pressure fed.
What kind of subjects did you remember from school?
We mostly, they didn't, well, they did after so long teach foreign language because I took Spanish when I was about the 6th grade, 2 years of it. Had a good helper set up beside of me, take all the grades, made, passed them.
Is that what you call cheating nowadays?
No, that's not cheating, that's letting people do your work. There's a difference between cheating and this.
And helping.
Very good.
My favorite subject, and still today, was math and spelling. I love them both. History, it's gone while I'm studying. The past, I never learned the past. You have to learn some of it, because, say like George Washington's book and all that, but as far as like you learned today, we didn't. They might have taught it, but I didn't learn it. Not that way today, because it's past, it's gone, you can't help it.
Then you had recess time?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the games you played?
They call it Wolf Over the River. You ever play that?
No? How did you do that?
Then, I don't know just how you do it all, but then they line up and hold hands on your, everybody held hands, so you on this side, one on this side, and you would run and try to break through.
Oh, yeah.
They
Red Rover.
Then drop the handkerchief. You ever play drop the handkerchief? Well, they played that.
They have some sports like at recess. Do you ever play baseball or things like that?
Yeah, we played that. We had a dirt court to play basketball on. Did have a scar on that thing. Thing was laid there for I don't know how long, years and years. Fell down, it's been over. That. Yeah, we had this, but that time, the men's court, I believe at that time was just half court. I mean, they weren't allowed to go halfway.
Basketball.
I may be wrong. But the girls' court was divided into 3 sections. Mama played in the middle section. And she wasn't allowed to shoot goals. She wasn't allowed to dribble, but they say at one time. And they had some pretty good teams. They played a lot of little kid schools around. See, the schools were so far apart. Then, but you had to do that after school. They never take time out of classes to have, ball games. They did through maybe Christmas holidays.
Did you walk to school or did you ride a bus or?
We walked. There was very few vehicles. I remember that my aunt, she was what had arthritis so bad, and they lived so far from school. They used to come in with a horse and a buggy. They finally got enough money to buy an old car, and they would drive their car to school and back. But that's as far as that
Was that
car
at
ever.
Pearl?
Yeah, as far as it ever went. They went to town, they had to go horse and buggy.
Dad, back on the school, what about the teachers? If you did something wrong, what did they do to you?
They're mean. Now, a little incident there that happened it was in the high school. We were still in the lower grades. The teacher was going to whip this boy for some reason. They got him back to school. He's a grown boy. I mean, he's the 10th, 11th grade, I don't know. And they got him all hemmed up for going to whip him. And he hit that door and knocked the woman was supposed to be holding the door, knocked her into a wall and down. And he taken off running. He never did come back to school anymore.
You just kept running.
Yeah, they would use a board on you to spank you. Like today, they won't do it because it's against the law, but I think it's a bad law they broke. But if you deserve it, you got to spank it. I believe you get spanking, but I've seen a lot of them do it. It hurt to even see them. You knew what was there. They didn't. Well, a bunch of them got in trouble, a bunch of boys, and we had to go out after school. They held school up until 4 o'clock. After school, the superintendent, that's when we had a man's teacher then, with a long man. He told us to go out and get us a switch for yourself. We're going to be smarty. We go out there, we cut the biggest stick we could get, a knife to bring. But take him back up there, and man, I think he looked at him and said, I can't beat you with that.
It's too big, huh?
We got out of it, but doing that, got around it. And there's lots of things went on. They had a lot of different games and stuff, and maybe have a pie supper or something like that. I mean, just maybe, I guess, more so for raising a few dollars for the school. There was very little money for any school.
Do they have dances and, they have dances like community maybe?
No, not so much. What kind of games? Ring around games, but they actually was the dancing, but the church people didn't call it dancing. It's the same difference in dance, but it was still, it wasn't good dancing. You like to have to dance, you know. Most of the people who went to that little church, that was Church of Christ. That was the church where we went. One incident, a man had so many kiddos, he rode to church at night, and all come in a wagon, he got home, counted kids, he left one at school, at church. That actually happened. I know that happened pretty close to me somewhere. No, it was very few people that didn't live and farm on farm. There's a few. Now, my uncle on my mother's side, my uncle's wife, but anyway, he worked in Fort Worth. Of course, he had a daughter or two because he drove about 20 miles to work, or 25 into Fort Worth.
That was a long way.
Huh?
That was a long way.
It was. And it was pretty rough living, but if you never knew better, you was. And I guess you'd think today you would be classified as extra poor people, but we had everything we wanted. During the Depression, we lived where the city people couldn't. We had ours. They didn't have theirs. We raised our eggs, we raised our chickens, and our meat, and we'd have cream, eggs, butter, beef. We never heard. Today, what would people do?
It's true.
For instance, you have no place to raise it. I don't either. but I don't have people who get by in another depression which I think just a few years back, it almost went to that. I was wondering how people were going to really get by.
Mm-hmm. So y'all had, what kind of cars did you have at first?
We did one car. It was a
One
Model
car.
T. It was a nice car. But I remember when Model A's come out pretty well. In 1928, that's when they went to having Model A cars.
Is that the ones you cranked from the front? Was that some of the?
Oh, the Model A had a starter. These
Okay.
others you crank from the front. And the 29 models, the 30s, the 28, the 27 model had a real sporty coupe or roadster too.
Hey, what colors did they come in, Dad?
Huh?
What colors were they?
Well, most of them, just one color was black. We had a little, my brother-in-law and I don't have, we both got in on the same deal. We would drive from Springtown to Jacksboro and out to Mineral Wells in this real brand new 27 model car to pick up that crystal water and take it back to this man right there where we live. Go out there about once a week, get barrels of water, take them to that for him. That's the fastest Model T we ever seen. It was 50.
Wow. And after school, then you went to work, or
Most of the time,
what kind of jobs did you have at first?
well, first, I guess really, well, when we were going to school and get back home, we had to hit for the fields to clean up the hoe or pull cotton, gather corn. My first job, as far as I can remember back, I went to work for a service station on the Jacksboro Highway. 50 cents a day and room and board. It's what I wound up to. But before then, I had worked for other farmers, followed a breaking plow. You walked all day long without a plow. And I guess we were lucky because I don't really ever been out of a job if I wanted to work. And I worked with this guy for a long time. And that's when that had to be along in 30, 34, 35. Because I worked with this railroad in 37. I was working there when I was offered a job on the railroad.
Is that your first kind of big job? Big job for
Sometimes
your...
they needed money.
Yeah.
You had your week. We at that time was making 50 cents a day and room and board. Was the time you thought a car was coming down the road until it's all off, until it's before the start in the morning. You had to be up. And gasoline, everybody tried to come by and sell you gasoline because it's so easy to get and you make good money on it. If any old truck come by, I learned that I had to check gasoline to see if it was good.
How was that?
Get on top of the truck, take the lid off, roll your sleeve up, put your arm down that gasoline, back
Your hair
out.
comes out.
If the arm come out cool, it was good gasoline. If it didn't, it had kerosene with it. That's the way we judge the gasoline. Now, today they have,
That's how you graded it, huh?
that's the way we grade it.
Yeah.
And I don't know it. I worked for that guy for a long time, But then when I got a job go to the railroad, I couldn't believe 8 hours for $4.48.
Ooh, big time.
That's big money. A lot of good beer money.
What did you do for the railroad?
Electrician. Started out as one of the gang, and I didn't know him, but the foreman was from Garrett, where Lee and Jesse and all the others lived. And I don't know whether I deserved it or whether I got it. I got a real easy job. I go by, spent $70-something for a watch, a railroad watch. Then I had an easy job. I take care of all the orders. I knew whenever the train come by, had every keep up with it that way. So they knew when to get off the track. Then I wound up with doing the electrical work. We were moving these signals back. Well, while the others were fixing the track up and all, I was back, build our own boxes to put batteries in. Then I had to build our own batteries and hook all this back up so these signals were working well here. That's where I learned what operates a signal. All your electricity now is in the tracks. If you got to come in here, you want this signal to come on. Between each joint, there's an insulator. Set between them. When you take that insulator, put that out, that made a connection. And from these battery boxes we were building, it furnished electricity up to there, you see. But when the train come by, they had shorted across. Out this is where there's insulation, into where there wasn't insulation, it automatically turned that light on down there.
Wow.
Crossing. They do that today. They don't. Most of them.
Still work that way.
And you could take a metal piece of pipe, set crowbar, lay across that thing today and work that signal. If you get down below where there's no insulation.
Dad, you mentioned something about Lee and Jesse, that's your half brothers. They worked for the railroad too?
Jesse did, Lee did. Lee was, he'd owned service stations, run taxi cabs, and I don't know what else he did do. Most of the time he owned stations.
So you worked with Jesse on the railroad side?
Well, Jesse got me the job. I never did see Jesse.
You never did see him, okay.
If I'd seen him, he wouldn't be coming back. We lived on the track.
Okay.
We had a boxcar fixed up with beds and everything. We ate there. We had a car fixed up like a kitchen. Anything you wanted to eat, we had to go tell the cook, and he'd go get it. If we say you want something special, he would try to get it.
So how did you get out to West Texas? And why did you come out here? You still wondering?
Well,
Was that the railroad that